So in fat loss, the fat loss section, we looked at rates of fat loss, and we're going to start with a similar process here. We're going to look at rates of weight gain, exactly how much muscle can I be gaining, exactly how much weight should I be gaining in order to gain that muscle, all of that sort of stuff. I thought it was probably a good idea to look at a few different studies just to give us an idea of just kind of the variance in how much weight is being gained per week in some of these subjects. So in the top row, we're looking at the Muller study from 2015. I referenced this back in part 2. This was the one that mimicked the Minnesota starvation study. So what it did was it overfed 32 untrained males for a couple of weeks by 50%. So that's a big calorie surplus. That was needed in order for them to effectively starve them for a few weeks. The ethics board kind of went, no, you can't just take people and just starve them for a few weeks. You've got to overfeed them first, and then you've got to overfeed them at the end as well in order to get them back to normal. So we're looking at that last overfeeding bit. So the 50% overfeeding after the 50% calorie restriction, they gained 3.5 kilos of body weight in 2 weeks. And they gained, according to the body composition analysis data they gained apparently 1.5 kilos of muscle, lean body mass, fat-free mass over 2 weeks. I know those aren't interchangeable. I can't remember the exact metric they used, but they gained roughly 1.5 kilos of muscle mass over 2 weeks. That's about 2.5% of body weight gain per week, that's quite a lot. That's about as high as you're going to get, really. I wanted to demonstrate kind of the maximum rate of weight gain that we can really shoot for and still be gaining net amounts of muscle. And that was, again, if you look at the study itself, it's a very, very, very specific context that we're looking at. Not going to be applicable for the vast majority of your clients. Then, if we look at the now fairly famous Barzin study from 1996, they took 11 recreationally trained males. They gave them a 10-week exercise program, they gave them a 10-week training program, along with 36 calories per kilogram of body weight, that's a fairly high amount of just total energy. And they also gave them 1.5 grams per kilogram of protein, which, as we'll come to see, is a perfectly reasonable amount for gaining muscle. They also gave them 600 milligrams per week of testosterone. They gave them steroids. They gained 6 kilos over the course of those 10 weeks, all of which was muscle, which is pretty impressive. It just goes to show exactly what that level of chemical enhancement can do. That equates to 0.8% body weight gained per week. And these are people taking steroids and eating lots of food. So again, in terms of how much natural trainees can grow, well, in another group in that study, they gave 9 recreationally trained males that same training program, the same amount of protein, the same amount of energy, but they then gave them a placebo steroid, which arguably, according to the Unit 4 that I did, may well have increased certainly their training performance, just because they thought they were being given a steroid, which may well have increased the amount of muscle they gained. But they gained like a statistically insignificant amount of weight over those 10 weeks. They gained less than 1 kilo of weight over those 10 weeks. And apparently, in terms of the muscle gain, that they gained apparently a little under 2 kilos of muscle. So they lost some fat as well over those 10 weeks. This equates to a 0.12% body weight gain per week. Now, if you remember the recommended rates of fat loss, we're looking at 0.51 or 1.5% of body weight per week.